What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Real Sports Science Podcast. My name's David, PhD student at Loughborough University.
And I'm Matt, head strength and conditioning coach within rugby. David, what are we doing here?
Yeah, good question, Matt. Well, we started this podcast to share the highs and the lows of our journey as we start careers as sports science practitioners.
That's right, and we are excited for all of you to be side by side with us through all the mud, sweat, and unpaid volunteer placements.
Yeah, Matt, that sounds personal. But hey, it's not just us. We've got some amazing guests that come onto the podcast as well.
We'll be getting their perspective and learning from their experiences to help us grow in our developing careers and in our current roles.
Yeah, that's right. So hey, if that's up your alley or you just want to come and learn alongside us, we'd love to have you come along.
So whether for the first time or not, welcome to the RSS podcast.
Let's go.
Hello, and welcome to episode 56 of the RSS podcast. Today is going to be a little bite size, so no series, just a nice little bite size. All right, so say we got the whole series right here, whole pack of series. We're just going to have a little bite size today. I've got all the props. So no, welcome back, and how are you, David? Just going to eat the bite size.
I'm good. I'm finally drying out from the day. Absolute brute. Was it bad down there as well? In Loughborough, we had the sleet rain, the misty rain that just gets you absolutely soaked. You know, just brutal. And I had to bike home at lunchtime, and then bike back in. So I was just dreading it both times because I knew I was gonna get soaked.
It's when it hits you in the eyes and you're just doing this for 20 minutes.
Yeah. I don't even mind because I've rain pants, rain jacket, fine, bit cold, whatever. But I swear both ways I was just into headwind, so the rain just just directly into my eyeballs.
It's like, oh, turn right here. Okay.
Yeah.
No, it was a wet one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, I'm just trying to think of what I'm doing at the minute. Oh, there's a conference in the summer, ECSS, the European College of Sports Science.
That's
and
cool.
They have a conference every year.
What's it about?
And sports science.
Sick.
There's it's a sports science conference, so people have booths that they set up, or they do oral presentations or posters on research, whether they're PhD students or not professors, lecturers.
Where is it?
Go and stuff like that. It changes. Last year it was in Paris, sick. This year it's in Glasgow.
I was gonna say
less sick.
Yeah, I might go. I'll see if the school can send me on a little away day.
That'd be sick. You should try. It's not till it's in July.
Oh, that's September. Oh yeah, I could get that. That's summer holidays.
It's in this. Yeah, it's in the summer. Yeah. So I'm getting an abstract together.
Are you doing it?
For study? Well, I'm gonna try. Yeah,
I'm gonna rinse it.
The deadline to get your.
I'm gonna study so hard on your topic. I'll be like, so David, have you actually thought about this and come up with a side binding question? And you'll just be like, look at me, and I'll just walk off.
Yeah.
Didn't answer my question, and just walk off and look at a different stall. I'm gonna wear a big lab coat as well and have a stethoscope. That's what they wear over there, right?
I think so. Yeah, that's what I wear in the lab all the time. Yeah. So the deadline though for the abstract is next Thursday, so I'm on crunch time trying to get that finished. And then you get told if you make it to give an oral presentation in April, and then it's in July. So pretty excited for that.
How much are the tickets?
But no idea.
Money's not.
A few hundred quid.
Is it?
For sure, usually. Yeah. But just ask your school if they would send you.
Yeah, I will. I'll just have to give some good spiel.
They can use some of their lawn funds.
Yeah, geez, hey. Some decent money. Decent money.
Y- Yeah, but yeah, so that's what I'm doing at the minute. So I'm like, I've got my data out from the coding software and I'm putting it into MATLAB.
My lab.
Am I? Sorry, I'm putting it into SPSS
Oh,
to run stats on it.
SPSS is just.
It's it's I have 5 different tasks, right? And for every task, I have 41 variables.
Oh, good luck.
So
Good luck.
so in SPSS, I have like ID, group, age, weight, sex, BMI, points, and then after that, 41 measures times 5, like for each task.
Oh, that.
It is
Hmm.
insane. And that's not even all of the data. That's just like enough data for the abstract, kind of like to write the abstract, because then you can, like, between writing the abstract and submitting it and then hopefully presenting, you'll obviously do work and probably have more data to show. But yeah, so that's what I'm dealing with.
Jesus.
Just like scrolling back and forth
Yeah.
trying to find the variables to put into like my repeated measures ANOVA that I'm trying to
Oh,
run.
Anova. All the buzzwords I'm hearing. I wonder what that
Yeah,
one's about. Yeah,
PTSD.
Jesus.
How about you? How was your week?
It was actually good. I did a lecture. I did a lecture. I did a lesson on cleans. So I taught some year 10s how to do
Ooh.
cleans and jerks. Um, it was interesting actually to see how some of them move. Um, which we can do a later podcast on like youth athletic development and movement literacy. But it was quite interesting. Then with the Novite, the year 9s, I did plyometrics, and then I realized actually plyometrics is a bit too advanced for some of the Novites, just to teach them what it is, go through some exercises.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is with the second year, yeah, the year 10s. Um, and then Nova, I'm just going to do basic movement literacy, so push, pull, hinge, brace, rotate, um, lunge,
That's cool.
and many different things. Um,
What was like the biggest shocker of teaching the year 10s clean and jerk?
they're bloody difficult. Like I remember being a pain in the ass as a kid, right? But
Not the cleans,
Jesus.
the
Oh, I
students.
just remember myself. Like now I feel bad for my teachers. But yeah, no, it's
Yeah, yeah.
difficult. The biggest shock was the movement patterns. Like some couldn't get into a squat without their heels lifting off the floor. So then it's like, oh crap. So like now it makes me realize, okay, so what I can do with these kids now is obviously teach them how to squat, but from their when they join the school, I'm going to bring in movement literacy. So once they get into that second year, they can all get into a front squat easy with their elbows, good shoulder mobility. But
Mm,
aside from like the nausea stuff, as a, like teaching them, I realized like the kids that get it straight away, because we split it up into movements, right? So we said start position. So the way I did it was explain, go through all the theoretical stuff, what it is, what benefits it is, what does it look like, slow motion vid, how many stages of there. Then we went through the different stages and the key techniques. Then I got them standing up. So 2 coaches each side, one person in the middle, and the one person in the middle has to perform it, and the coaches give them cues that are on the bit massive projector screen in the sports hall. And what I found was that the group that nailed it, the start position, were already they'd get into the start position and just lift it and hold it up in the air, and I'd be like, "You've nailed it, okay, cool." But like once they nailed the first pull, and they even when they nailed the jump, they would just mess around. They'd mess about for a bit because they nailed it. And I understand as a
yeah.
kid, once you nail the movement and you've been given the good old, nice one, good job, oh, nailed it, then they're like, okay, stimulus is done. They don't need to practice it 10 more times because they think they've nailed it. Whereas the other kids, I'm trying to work on them, but then they're with the pole just trying to hit each other and stuff. And it's like, oh my God. So it's like trying to do all of
Mm.
that. That's the main thing I noticed. So then by the last class, I was all tuned in.
So it's less about actually teaching them how to clean and more like keeping them engaged the
Well,
whole
yeah,
entire
it's like,
time.
so say like if we were doing snatches or stuff and like the coach is with me and he said, oh, David, you nailed it. You got no issues. You're going to either like, obviously you're old, so like you won't, but like as a kid, I'd be like, sweet. Well, that's me done for the lesson. Do you know what I mean? So I just was more reserved on
Yeah.
good job.
Oh
So
yeah.
like, Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, where are the hockey
Yeah.
sticks? Let's play some. Let's play
Okay.
some
Sir, can
hockey
we
in
play
this
football
place
now?
now.
Can we play football?
Sound. I'm out of
Mate,
here.
once I rack,
Oh, and then especially if you get it the first like right
that's what they
away,
did.
and there's people who just don't get it, and you just have to
But
wait
so that's the thing. So
around.
like one lad was
Long
doing
days.
it bang from the time I taught everyone first pull, he nailed the whole movement. The other lad is in starting position like
What a
this.
legend.
So I'm like, okay, I've got to monitor this fella, bring his chest out,
Yeah.
which he's some people, which I realized, you got to break it down to basics. Like I say, chest out, and he goes, and it's like, "Oh, mate, fella, please, just puff, be proud of yourself, chest out, and he's like this, and it's like, oh no, and then in the corner I see him with a stick, just going like this because he's nailed the movement. So it's like, okay, lad,
Just about to
yeah.
impale one of
So I'm
the
like,
other
stop
students.
it, and then I look at the side, and he's back into that, and it's like, ah. So yeah, so you just got to break it down even simpler for those lads just coming in. But anyways, that's me. That's me.
That's
Um,
hilarious. That's so
yeah,
interesting.
we can do a whole episode on that. I can give you more spiel about how annoying it is. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll tell you
Moving
what,
on
I'm
to this
losing sleep
episode.
about it. That's what I'm losing.
I was gonna say it's late.
Mm.
It's late. It's almost 10 p.m. and we're losing sleep to do this episode, which is also timely because we're doing it on sleep.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, a little bit of sleep. I was gonna say what is sleep. That's stupid. Um, maybe some of you don't know what enough sleep is. Why don't you tell us why you wanted to do this? Because this one was your
Yeah,
idea,
so
actually.
I thought now that we're transitioning from winter to summer, the days get longer and so we've all heard of circadian rhythm. And circadian rhythm will change once the days get longer, people stay out longer, people's behaviors change, and all of that, even though you may not think so, it does affect your sleep hygiene. So essentially, sleep hygiene, what is sleep hygiene? So that refers to both your sleep environment and your behavior. Okay. Poor sleep hygiene can negatively impact sleep quality, quantity, and just daily life quality. All right. So we'll get into the nitty gritty of it later, but the reason why I chose it is because everyone's going through that transition, whether you're an athlete, whether you've got 9 to 5, okay, we've all got it. We've all got to have good sleep
Yeah.
hygiene, and I think, yeah, it is quite important. And I actually, when I was researching, looking into it more, I thought, okay, crap, I could do some of this. And even before doing this, I've listened to it and read some things just for personal interest, and it was actually like, oh, quite eye-opening. And I tell you what, once you get some certain things nailed down, your body does recognize it. And I think it's once you've finally got it nailed down, you keep doing it. I think it's around 40 days or something like around that time. I should actually check that while you continue talking after this, but something around that timeline where your whole circadian rhythm resets or adjusts to the new
Really?
sleep schedule or new life schedule that you've got. Um, but yeah, I think we'll go in to a bit more on like the why is it good. So a benefit of having good sleep hygiene. It includes setting a strict sleep schedule, following a bedtime routine, forming healthy habits, and optimizing your bedroom for sleep. Okay, but it does not alone cure sleeping problems. So obviously, if you have tried these things or you've tried it in the past, do consult your doctor or your GP to get better advice where they can perform tests on you. Sleep. I'm trying. Obviously not that, but and obviously, like, I'll get into the
Uh,
nitty gritty. So something I took out of, so I don't know if you've heard of this guy. He's called Matthew Matthew Talker. Where has he gone? So he was on the Joe Rogan podcast as well as the um, what's his name? As well as Huberman's podcast. He's a big ad.
how'd you forget
I
him?
know.
He's like
So
your
it's because I'm trying to
favorite
remember this
guy.
fella's name. Flipping Matthew Talker. It's Matthew Walker. So one thing I read about a little paper he did or a little article he wrote is why is sleep important? So obviously we know sleep. It helps us physically heal, recover from illness, deal with stress, solve problems, consolidate memories. Hey, helps with consolidating memories. So when you're dreaming of Canucks winning a Stanley Cup, in the past, you can keep dreaming about
Oh,
that.
baby.
And
I don't know if you follow the
I have.
Canucks, but they're first in the
Yeah,
NHL right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Have you? Have you? And your boy Quinn Hughes is on an absolute
Buys the
tear.
jersey.
When you got the jersey, he wasn't captain yet,
No.
was he? I don't think no, but he's captain now. He is looking good to be the best defenseman in the league. Forget what the award is for best defenseman.
Stanley Cup.
But he's an absolute legend.
I know.
Canucks are sitting first in the league right now. They're playing
Are
tonight.
they?
Starts at midnight.
Well,
Our
once
our
we
time.
finish, David, we'll
So,
stick it on. Um,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
sorry, and finally, like everyone talks about numbers. Oh, how many hours did you get? Oh, I got 8. I got 6. But a good night's sleep isn't just about the quantity; it's also about the quality. Okay, so there's something called non-rapid eye movement, so NREM, so the opposite of REM. Okay, and that aids physical recovery. So there's two essential kinds of sleep: non-rapid eye movement and rapid eye movement. So non-rapid eye movement helps your body sleep, wind down, fall into a deep sleep, which allows you to feel more rested in the morning. It also can physically heal us, recover from illness, deal with stress, and solve problems. Okay. It also helps with your memory, but REM is the sleep that bolsters learning and memory. So REM sleep affects your mood, learning efficiency, and getting enough. Oh, there come the balloons. Nice, David.
The balloons are
Getting
back.
enough.
I have no idea why that happens.
Get enough REM can improve recall and memory consolidation. REM is the sleep phase closest to wakefulness and where most of our dreaming occurs. So when I'm sure everyone's heard the sleep like get deep REM. That's when you dream. That's when the lucidness happens, right?
You know what's weird though? REM sleep is closest. Like your brain waves during REM sleep are the closest to what they are when
Yeah.
you're awake. So it's actually the lightest sleep
Even though it's
because it's like light sleep, deep sleep, and then REM's like way up here just before you wake up, which is why usually you have crazy dreams right before you wake up.
because yeah, and
But that's interesting. Yeah. Anyways, sorry, keep going.
no,
You're on a roll.
so yeah. So another thing, while scientists are uncertain about the exact reason for dreams, they speculate that it is how our brain processes emotions. Thought that was a nice little drop in there about dreaming. But yeah, I was going to go into like what are signs of poor sleep hygiene, if you want.
Before
Yeah.
you do that, because we took this totally different ways, and first of all, what an absolute rundown by you! Round of applause for that rundown. Take a drink.
How do you do balloons?
Holy smokes! yeah, where are the balloons where you need them? I have no idea how they come.
The camera. See if that does something. I've seen one of my mates do it. Yes, there you go.
Oh, oh, it's like
Like-
the. Oh, that's so cool.
David, for the rest of the podcast is just like this. Whenever I do something well, no talking, just
Yeah. For people who aren't watching me actually flail my last episode or no our last guest 2 episodes ago, I did something and balloons came up on my screen, and it happened again today, but I don't know what I do to have it happen. It's so random. Anyways, so we took this in totally different directions. I did see I read a little bit on sleep hygiene, but I did more reading on like the um like stress adaptation to sleep and like the hormones to sleep and what happens when you sleep, and because you have like cortisol and what happens to cortisol as you sleep and kind of during the day, and what happens to cortisol in your blood if you sleep so many hours versus few hours, or if you like jet lag for instance, um or like what are the risk factors if you're a chronic if you're chronically, oh, what's the word?
masturbating.
That's next podcast. That's next podcast.
If you're chronically, oh yeah, that was the word. That was the word.
When you're chronically, oh, I had the word and you said that and it totally threw it out of my mind. Deprivation, chronic sleep deprivation. I just read it. That's why. Like so, I totally went in a different way. So that's really cool. Kind of what you did. So, it's crazy how It's interesting because you said like, oh, I got 8 hours sleep. How much is too much sleep? Is there too much sleep? Is there such a thing? Supposedly there is
Really?
actually, because then you get lethargic. Yeah. Um, or how much is too little sleep? Because I've heard also people say like 8 hours of sleep is the best, depending on how old you are. For like healthy adults, 7 to 8 hours is ideal. But then also the research doesn't say a whole lot of like short term, if you're getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep, that's bad. Like cortisol levels, which for people who don't know, cortisol is like basically your stress hormone. So high levels of cortisol long term chronically is very bad for you, because it peaks your sympathetic nervous system, which is like your fight or flight nervous system, and that system takes a ton of energy to run. So if your cortisol levels are high, amongst other lots of other things, one of the things is basically your body is using so much to run this sympathetic nervous system that like your immune system uh, collapses, or your body doesn't have enough energy to run your immune system properly. But there's also problems like uh, you can easily or more easily become glucose not deficient, but you're not sensitive. You become glucose insensitive. So a high level of cortisol for long periods of time can also increase your risk for diabetes and
Oh,
obesity. um
Jesus.
yeah, and also more cortisol also makes you
Mm.
more hungry, and so that's why there's a big risk factor of obesity if you don't sleep that much. So it's while you're just munching away over there.
Somebody's
Is that
tired.
why you're laughing? Yeah, it's so interesting. Or also, if you don't get enough sleep, probably you're going to be tired and fatigued, so you're not going to exercise as
Mm.
well. So another risk factor for being sedentary and gaining weight. I read something. Let me see if I can find it. I have like three papers open, so I'm not um I'm not sure exactly where it is, but it's so interesting. All these like papers, like it's so it's very biochemistry heavy,
It's also like
but it's
heavily
very
researched, hey? Like there's so many different parts of
it's
sleep that
strange.
you can go
Yeah,
deep into. But if it wasn't for Huberman,
yeah.
Matthew Walker, Joe Rogan, and us, the pioneers of science, right? If it wasn't for us four legends, um, I wouldn't have
Legends.
known. Like, I genuinely wouldn't have never thought about my sleep hygiene, and some of the tips that we'll give
One of the
later,
first, yeah,
I would have never thought.
yeah, one of the first papers that like research study was in Russia. I read this as well. And poor puppies. They used
Mm.
dogs and basically did something so that they couldn't sleep. And they died within 4 days. Isn't that
But
wild?
even
4 days. And I'm sure there's been some unnamely research done on humans as well, with sleep.
do
Um,
you want to know an interesting fact about dolphins? So when they sleep, half of their
yeah.
brain sleeps, but the other half is still awake.
But isn't that wait? No, they don't have it. Yeah, I was thinking sharks, because
Yeah,
sharks can't
no, no, no.
ever keep
Mm.
like stop, because
But yeah,
yeah,
no,
yeah. But
dolphins can shut off half of
dolphins
their
have both.
brain,
Imagine how much stuff you would
mate.
get done if you.
I think it's good that
We
we
would
get
be
sleep,
we
otherwise we'd be up to no good, David. Okay, late nights, all of that,
yeah.
right? I think it's good that we get sleep.
Watching hockey games in it.
Yeah, that. But
That's what
do you
you
know
do,
what I
right?
mean? Like, imagine if we had one half of the brain staying awake, we wouldn't get more done. We'd just be even more lazy. We'd be like this. Oh, I can now watch hockey games and then NFL. I can watch the Super Bowl now.
Yeah, I get
Yeah, yeah.
nothing done. Yeah. But and also all those gurus. Have you seen those videos of those guys? Like, I'm up 4 a.m., half an hour of meditation. At at 5:30, I read a
Also,
book. I read a book on double speed. By 7, I've worked out, trained 4 times, eaten three
mm,
meals, and finished 5 years. Or that one guy is like, my first day starts at 6 a.m., ends at 12. Boom, one
but
day done. Next
mate,
day, have you
but
seen
it's
that
even
one?
like I don't know about you, but have you ever tried like waking up and meditating? When I wake up, I'm either like, or I'm up and I'm ready to go. Do
Yeah, I fall back
you know what I mean?
asleep.
It's not like
That's what.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, I'm awake. Just think about life. No, bro, I'm up and I'm getting going.
No, that I wouldn't be able to do that. Anyways, here I found it. I found that after all that waffle. So there's a meta-analysis, and it revealed that for each reduction of 1 hour of sleep per day, there was an association with an increase of 0.35 kilos in body mass.
I sleep to get skinny, G. Sleep to get skinny. That's crazy, though.
Yeah, so if you want to put on weight, don't sleep.
That's an RSS tip right there.
Oh, and yeah, another crazy thing as well is that sleep. It's that some research has shown that sleep, in quotes, kind of resets the metabolism and energy expenditure of the
Alongside
brain.
the circadian rhythm,
So
hey.
yeah, so in effect, it allows more flexibility for the next day to control energy expenditure depending on what's happening. So like basically, like your metabolism kind of, because your basal metabolism doesn't really change, um, but it gives, I guess, your body more flexibility to adapt to situations of the next day metabolically. Also, glucose intake by the brain is increased during REM sleep at the end of the night.
Yeah, I guess more REM sleep, more functionality to continue with the normal processes. Like you talk about dreams and brain waves. But yeah, carry on.
And I guess it makes sense if your brain, like EEG, is most active during REM. Your brain also needs more energy to kind of to
Just sleep
fuel
with
all
like
that
a
activity.
SIS gel just dripping in your mouth so you can keep dreaming. Another tip.
Yeah, yeah, and then maybe when you have those nightmares, when you can't run fast, yeah.
Second win, baby! Sprinting away from Freddy Krueger.
But yeah, so those are kind of some of the things that I read that I found really really interesting. Because you always hear, like for me at least, like you always hear, yeah, sleep's good for you, how much sleep, but like why, like what's actually happening, you know? And I almost all the papers that I've read have said it's really difficult to kind of compare across studies because all of the studies use like different sleep times or different this or different that, or they're looking at different things. But I guess that's kind of across all research. It's like no two studies are the same. So you kind of got to get the collective like information. But anyways, yeah, so that's why sleep's important for you. So let's get into like sleep, like what you're talking about, sleep hygiene. Like how do you actually get good
So we'll
sleeps?
start with.
You
So
know?
one thing I nabbed out was starting with setting a sleep schedule. So let's get a schedule set. So mine is 11 p.m. I've read my book and the light goes out, Wi-Fi's off, no distractions.
Wi-Fi is off. Where you unplug the
Wi-Fi,
router?
radiation, baby. On my phone, like I put my phone in airplane mode. Hey, conspiracy theories. Hey, the
Oh,
Earth's flat, okay? And no, setting a schedule,
I sleep with my phone on my
mate. Yeah, you
chest,
do. There you
bare
go.
skin.
I see. I take the chip out and put it in my ear and sleep. No, and so like setting a sleep schedule is important. So have a fixed wake up time regardless of whether it's a weekday or weekend. Try to wake up at the same time since a fluctuating schedule keeps you from getting into a rhythm of consistent sleep. So one thing we spoke about.
I read
Yeah.
that too. And I hate that so
But it's
much.
like, but you understand it though, don't you? Like in the sense, even though it's
Nice.
bad, it's quite common sense. Like even though on the weekend you want to sleep in, so I
Mm.
sleep at 11, wake up at 8 every day. And ever since I've stuck it to that, right? Obviously, I'll have a day off in like my 40-day trying to get into the habit. But like ever since I've stuck into that, Saturdays and Sundays, I'm up and I'm moving and I'm getting stuff done. Um,
See, but like during the week, I get up at like 5:30 or
that's
6.
when it gets difficult because,
And on like Saturday, Sunday, I just don't want to be getting up at
but then
5:30
what?
or 6. Like I want to be sleeping in. But the thing is, I don't sleep in till like 12. I sleep in till like 7:30 or 8.
is the next one.
But that's like 2.5
Yeah,
hours difference.
but at
So it's,
the next point is like prioritize sleep. So it might be tempting to skip sleep in order to work, study, socialize, or exercise, but it's vital to treat sleep as a priority. Calculate a target bedtime based on your fixed wake up time and do your best to be ready for bed around that time each night. The other thing it says, make gradual adjustments. So if you want to shift your sleep times, don't try to do it all in one time. Don't go from like say what you said, waking up at 5:30 to just trying to sleep at 11, or try to sleep at 10
mm,
or 11 and then wake up at 8, or try to sleep by you've been sleeping at midnight and then you're trying to sleep by 9. It won't happen. Make gradual adjustments, okay?
mm,
Because if you don't, it can throw your schedule way out of hell. Like it will just you'll be all over the place. And if in your mind, if you throw it that far away, you'll wake up and you'll be like, oh, I didn't actually enjoy that. Let me not do it. Or you'll sleep earlier, but then wake up earlier at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't go from
yeah.
sleeping at midnight to trying to sleep at 9 and then expect to wake up at 8 still. Okay. And then the other thing is,
Don't tell me what I can't do.
pardon?
Don't tell me what I can't do.
Hey, don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. But no. And then the other thing, don't overdo it with naps. So naps can be a handy way to regain energy during the day, but they can also throw off sleep at night, which is obvious. Don't nap too excessively, is what I'm trying to say. So,
I love a nap. If I could have a nap every day, I would. But only like half an hour, from 2:30 till 3
mm.
nap. Oh,
But yeah, but like remember, I'll throw in a personal example. When I went to David and we did that Snowdon thing, I went to we had minimal sleep. Hey, we had 2 hours sleep, did the whole thing, came back. We arrived at the place at like 2, 3. We recorded a podcast that ended
yeah,
3.
one.
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go sleep for 30
Yeah,
minutes.
I think we got back to ours to mine at like 1:30
Okay.
or something. We left at 1:30 in the
Mm.
morning, drove. Yeah, because we didn't get to bed till like 11 or
Yeah,
something that
because I
night, did
arrived
we?
9,
Like the night
went to
before.
bed 11:30, woke up 1:30, drove, came back at 1:30 around that time, did a podcast that finished
Yeah.
3 or 4, and then I went to you
Mm.
and I was like, mate, we gotta sleep, otherwise I'm not driving back to from here to back to where I am in one day.
Did we sleep after the
Yeah, mate, we
podcast?
were delirious in that podcast. We were
Oh,
delirious.
yeah, you're
Um,
right. That was
yeah, and
ridiculous.
then but I was meant to go for a 30-minute nap, fell asleep for 3 hours. I got home and I wasn't tired. The drive, I was tired, but like getting home, I was just still awake, like, ugh. So yeah, don't overdo it
Yeah.
with naps, okay? And then breaking it down, follow a night routine. So now you've got your sleep schedule. Now you're going to plan, okay, I'm going to go 10 till 7 every night, okay? Now you need to get a nightly routine. So, I mean, do you want to talk about your nightly routine before we go into?
Well, one thing I would say that I found helped is because you have like different sleep stages, right? Light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep. And REM sleep is the closest to being awake. And so sometimes, when you wake up and you feel like you've been hit by a
Mm,
bus and you can barely open your eyes. That's probably because you were in deep sleep. So you're waking up out of a deep sleep. So your body's like, what? You know? So so there's so what you want to do, and your body goes through it when you sleep. Your body fluctuates or cycles through deep sleep, light sleep, REM sleep, light sleep, deep sleep, light, and it goes like up and down like that, like a sine wave. Um, and so I found this, like I just found this app or something that basically told you when do you need to wake up. You put in when you need to wake up, and then it tells you when you should go to sleep, so that when by I'm struggling, so that when you need to wake up, you're in REM sleep or light sleep. So it kind of like tries to kind of match the sleep cycle and how long on average it takes to go through one cycle. And one thing I found that helped, and it was like I needed to be in bed at this time, and then when my alarm went off at 5:45, I would be in and around light sleep or REM sleep, which would make it easier to wake up. And it was like it ended up being like 7 hours and 45 minutes or something like that. So I found that helped. I need to get better at like my actual um schedule, like in the evening. I think because like a lot of what I do is, or almost all of what I do is on the computer, whether it's like podcasts, then editing for the podcast, or like videography, editing for that, or like university. Although I'm pretty good at not doing uni after I leave, like uni work after I
Mm.
leave, so that's good. But everything's on my computer, so it's just like screens all day, you know. Um, so I need to get better at like shutting that down. I need to get better at like half an hour before I go to sleep, putting my phone away, so I'm not just like inundated with screens before I need to go to sleep. Because I did do that for a while and it really helped. Or like reading, because it kind of like makes you sleepy and then boom, you're gone, you know? So to be honest, like at the minute, I have a really, other than like getting up pretty regularly, kind of around 5:30 or 6, my like before bed routine's pretty poor.
I feel you.
So, but what? So yeah, so that's me.
Um,
What are you pretty good with
I wasn't in the end.
kind of what you do before you
Like
go to
I
bed?
always used to text my I always used to text like my ex-girlfriend. I always used to text her until like silly o'clock, and I'd stay up like until 1 or sometimes 2. And actually, I used to work a job at Sainsbury's in my uni when I was at uni a while ago, and I'd be working 4 a.m. till 8 a.m. And if I would stay up talking until midnight, I'd be knackered and I'd
Hmm.
get back and I'd nap. So I've gone through a stage where my sleep schedule was all over the place. 3 times a week, waking up 4, 8 a.m. Other times I'd be waking up at 9. Okay, and yeah, I could tell my emotions were off, my training wasn't as good. Yeah, I wasn't just in a good place really. But now once I get home, obviously bar this podcast, but I'll still keep the same routine. I relax, do sort out any emails or like just, little bits like admin stuff. Close that, have dinner, watch something whilst having dinner, then I'll brush my teeth, put my jocks, my sleeping shorts on, my jocks, all that stuff. Hop into bed.
Oh, we're going deep. We're going
Yeah,
deep into
go
the
go into
schedule
my
here.
bed, read 10 pages or a chapter of my book, and then just lock everything off. Something that does help me fall asleep actually is podcasts. Like I'll listen to a Joe Rogan podcast or something, and or RSS podcast. No, I don't listen to myself speak, but or I'll just log off. So like phone is off, no on do not disturb. The eye comfort shield's on. It's been on for like the past 30 minutes, and it's off. Natural light's gone, so I turn this light off, the one up top, and I put low level LEDs. So I'll put it on this setting. Actually, oh, it's already on that. 1 second. 1 second. So I'll turn it down, so all you can see is essentially this, right?
Do you leave
No,
that
no, no.
on as well?
That's just for when I'm falling asleep, for when I need to read, and then I'll turn it off.
Uh, oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so that's there, and then read my 10 pages, and then I'm off to sleep. And if I need help sleeping, then I'll stick on the podcast. Um, but yeah, and
I went through a phase of like really struggling to sleep, and I had to always listen to like some low
mm,
music or something. like the sleepy time music.
sleep for me. That one. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, that exact just on repeat.
But yeah, no. So and then what advice is out there? So first thing, keep your routine consistent. So following the same steps each night, including things like putting your pajamas on, brushing teeth, can reinforce your mind that it's bedtime. So not only are you
Mm.
obviously like, oh, I should go to sleep, I should go to sleep. No, once you do those actions, you'll start to realize, okay, I'm going to bed. The brain can start slowing down. So budget 30 minutes of your day for winding down. Okay, so have 30 minutes where you can maybe put so some of the things here: light stretching, soft music, reading or relaxation exercises, dimming your lights as well. That will help. Just set 30 minutes just to where you can proper wind down and then go through that process after you brush your teeth and you're in bed. Or you can be doing some light
Mm.
stretching as well. That's what it says. Finally,
It's so interesting, isn't it? That like
that we're so
your
difficult to fall
brain
asleep.
picks up.
We're meant to sleep,
Yeah,
but yet
yeah.
we all have to wind
And
down.
but you were so yeah. When you talk, I
Such
just can't go.
divas. Such divas, hey? Oh no, the lights are too bright. I've had too much screen time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's so crazy that like we're so programmable because even one thing that I read, it's like keeping your bed like somewhere where you sleep and not like spending tons of time there like on your phone, on your computer, doing work in your bed and stuff like that because it can program your
Mm.
brain that this isn't where
Yeah,
you
yeah,
sleep, and it can actually make it difficult to fall
yeah,
asleep in your bed. Or there's another one that I read that's like if you can't sleep and it's like taking you more than half an hour to sleep, to like actually get up, leave your room, like do something, relax, go sit on the couch or read for a little bit, listen to some music or whatever, and then try again instead of just like laying there.
yeah,
Excuse me. And just like wow, like that's something I didn't even think of, like actually not just allowing your brain to kind of get used to being in bed and not sleeping could actually cause you to have poor sleep
yeah.
quality and not be able to sleep.
And one thing on the side of that is, like, I remember reading a book by Resilience, Art of Resilience by Ross Edgley, and he stated a time when he was in the Sahara with a tribe where they go hunt together, and it was pure tribal hunting. And he said he's never slept any
It's insane.
better when he was in them fields looking at the stars, no natural light, no, sorry, all natural light, no artificial light at all. Fell asleep, woke up, and like through that process, he never slept better. So much so that when he woke up, they were saying, "Have you seen the tracks?" Apparently, there was lion paws. Maybe not the Sahara, but it was somewhere where he just saw lion paws or something, and he was like, "Oh my word!" It's somewhere in his book Art of Resilience. But yeah, it just shows like but that's how we
Maybe I don't want to sleep that good.
evolutionally, we evolutionary,
His body's just like, if we die,
right,
we die.
mate, you got to get them Z's. But no, it was like very interesting in the sense like we are meant to be programmed. Our ancestors didn't have all this artificial light. The reason why we are easily programmable now is because we're trying to go back to how we used to be. We've been programmed to react to the sunlight, to have circadian rhythm, react to the stars, be able to go through that mindfulness. Now we've just got all this man-made stuff. It's different. We're just having to go back to those sort of stages. Look, I'm alpha and everyone else is just living in my world. But no, so yeah,
Are you gonna get your
mate.
crystals out Nexus then?
Nah.
Holy
So dim your
smokes!
lights. Try to keep away from bright lights because they can hinder the production of melatonin. So melatonin, the hormone that the body creates to facilitate sleep. Uh, Try dim the lights. Unplug from electronics. Build in a 30 to 60-minute pre-bed buffer time that is device-free. So no tablets, cell phones, laptops, because that can cause mental stimulation that is hard to shut off. So the reason why I turn off my Wi-Fi and put it on Do Not Disturb, if I've got my Wi-Fi still on, I'm thinking, oh wait, did I miss a message? Oh, have I got a message from this person? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, it's so silly, isn't it? You always like, oh, well, but what if something happens and they need to message me?
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
And you go
Like
through a stage.
it is, it is
Yeah,
crazy.
you go through a
Yeah.
stage that even, oh,
But the good thing is, watching a Canucks game at midnight isn't
mate,
stimulating at all. So
yeah,
that's actually fine.
yeah.
Just want to throw that out
Um,
there.
but no,
What do you mean? What are you talking about? Me yelling while
yeah,
I'm in my
I'm
bed
asleep, don't you know?
at 2 a.m. when the Canucks score? Me
Yeah, still asleep.
try not
That's
to
REM,
make any
still
noise.
asleep.
Yeah,
Um, and then
Rem.
yeah, and then the other thing that was
Sorry.
interesting is,
I'm
oh,
just you're going on absolute tears on this podcast, and all I'm doing is just throwing
oh
you
no,
off
it's all good,
course
it's all
the
good.
entire
No, it's in
time.
like the last thing I want to say for that following a nightly routine is don't toss and turn. So that's one thing that Matthew Walker said. It helps to have a healthy mental connection between being in bed and actually being asleep. So if after 20 minutes you haven't gotten to sleep, get up, stretch, read, or do something else calming in low light.
Hmm.
So try that method again. And
Hmm.
then once you keep doing that method will sink in, that will help your body realize, go back to the start, help your body realize that you're
Right.
going to bed now. Um, and then, sorry, quickly, I say quickly, on the next stage is like cultivating. So not only having a nighttime bed schedule, you don't just like go into nighttime and you're like, I'm ready. There's also daily considerations you have to have. Okay, so it's not just bedtime habits that play a part. You need to also have daily habits. So Dr. Huberman, buddy Andrew, sir, Huberman. I didn't feel comfortable saying buddy Andy or Andrew, but anyways, he recommends.
Yeah, you could tell as well.
Yeah,
Immediately, you're like,
I was like,
sir.
master. But no, he recommends getting sunlight exposure within 30 to 60 minutes of waking up and again before sunset. But why?
We're screwed in the
Yeah, we're
UK.
just see the lights just shine it. Like I always wake up and just stare at these lights for 30 minutes. Nah,
Yeah, just
yeah.
flashlight.
But no, why is it important? So our body naturally craves the sun, and there's a valid reason behind it. Sunlight plays a crucial role in synchronizing the body's circadian rhythms, as we've spoken about multiple times already. So it basically so what is a circadian rhythm? It's a physical, mental, and behavioral change that occurs within a 24-hour cycle. So it's a cycle. So sleeping at night and being awake during the day is an example of circadian rhythm. So let's get noisy. So humans have a group of nerve cells that form a structure called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN. The SCN is located in a part of the brain called the hypothalamus. The SCN controls the production of melatonin, a hormone that causes sleepiness. When light enters our eyes, specialized cells in the retina detect the light and send signals to the SCN. The SCN in turn coordinates various biological processes based on the information received. All right, so exposure to sunlight in the morning, especially in the first hours of waking up, 30 minutes to 60 minutes, helps suppress the release of melatonin, hormone that promotes sleep, while increasing alertness. So conversely, the absence of sunlight, particularly at night, triggers the release of melatonin, signaling the body to prepare for sleep. So luckily, once I wake up, I'm getting ready, so not much exposure to sunlight, but I've got a 20 to 30-minute drive where I'm obviously out in the open driving, so I can still the windows don't block it as much, so it still helps. And then the next stage is being physically active. So regular exercise can make it easier to sleep at night and also deliver a host of other health benefits that we all know that I'm sure we've been through on this podcast. So exercising, obviously, there's more scientifically reason, but it does make you tired. You're expending a lot of energy to help you get tired. All right. And then,
Yeah.
funnily enough, we'll get deeper into this. So don't smoke for many reasons, but may not help you sleep. So nicotine stimulates the body in ways that disrupt sleep, which helps explain why smoking is correlated with numerous sleeping problems. Okay. So
Well, it's like it's like being over
yeah, yeah,
caffeinated as well.
which will
I think caffeine and nicotine kind of go in the same
yeah,
thing, right?
which is
Um,
something I'll touch upon later. But yeah, no, essentially, reduce alcohol consumption as well. So I don't know about you, but when I've gone on a steamer of a night, you'd think, okay, blah, blah, you're like here sitting there, you're like this, you're like, I could go to sleep right now. Have you, when you try sleep, I just feel like I'm spinning and it just takes me ages. Okay, so funnily enough, alcohol may make it easier to fall asleep, but the effect wears off, disrupting sleep later in the night. So even though you're here down, you think you're gone, you wake up instantly. Not instantly, but like in a mode where you won't be able to fall back asleep. You'll either be hungover or your brain will just be activated because all the different neurons getting affected by obviously alcohol consumption. So avoid smoking and alcohol consumption, obviously. Finally, cut down on caffeine in the afternoon and evening. Caffeine isn't found in coffee, energy drinks, all of that other stuff. Its chemical structure is very similar to that of adenosine, which is like sort of what's it called? Can promote
a receptor.
epinephrine, noradrenaline, adrenaline. Um, and finally, caffeine, don't have it within 1 hour. So remember we spoke about 30 to 60 minutes. You're waking up, you're getting the sunlight, let that wake you up, and then have the caffeine an hour and 30 minutes later, so 90 minutes later. All right, don't let the caffeine be the thing to wake you up. You want your whole body's natural ability to wake you up through the sunlight, through the SCN.
Mm. Last year, there was that whole hydrate before you caffeinate
Oh, yeah.
trend. Did you
Yeah.
see? People just like the first thing they did was post a story of them like drinking
Yeah.
water. Drinking pure like just water is the hardest thing to do in the morning. It just doesn't taste good in the
I don't
morning.
know if I've had yeah, I don't know. Have you ever woken up
You know,
and
for me
you've
at
been
least, like,
thirsty though? That's when it hits the
oh
best.
well, yeah.
Oh, when you wake up like in the middle of the night, like I need water, and you just and you're just like oh, and then you're like oh crap, I need to pee now, and you can't sleep for a while.
Yeah. I don't get that often where I wake up in the middle of the night and have to drink water. But when I do, it hits different. But like once I wake up in the morning and I'm exhausted, just like water just doesn't
Mm,
taste good. I usually have squash because then I'm still drinking water. Do
yeah.
you know what I
No,
mean? Like it
I'm with
still
you on
tastes
that, to
good.
be fair. And then
What do you think? What this was a question I had, totally not sleep related, but purely just drinking
yeah,
water
these
related.
biceps are quite. Oh, what's your question?
What what do you think's worse? Not drinking enough water or drinking more water but with like a ton of squash, so you're having a ton of sugar as well.
The one with more water, I guess.
And squash is
No, it's
worse?
better. Like if less water than you need, or more water but a ton of squash. You'd have to say more water than squash.
And squash. I guess yeah,
Fudge. But yeah,
I don't
no.
know. Anyways, just another side note from me.
And then, sorry, lastly, last two things. Don't dine late. So eating dinner late, especially if it's a big, heavy or spicy meal, can mean you're still digesting when it's time for bed. In general, any food or snacks should be lighter side. So pistachios, they're okay, but not a steak and wine right before you go to bed because your body will still be churning. All right.
That's interesting because I read that as well, but I read it more as like not because your body's working to digest the food, but it's more you might be uncomfortable because you've just eaten a huge meal and uh and because of that you can't fall asleep. Because I tried to find some stuff of like why shouldn't you eat before, and it's all people always say, oh, because your body's like using energy to like your body's doing a lot, so you won't be able to sleep. But I couldn't find anything on that. And actually, what I more found it was like not eating, or it says not going to bed hungry, but also not going to bed overly full because you're going to be uncomfortable, and because of that you
Mm.
can't sleep. Did you find
No,
something
no, no,
else
no.
or
It agreed with that. Um, sorry, when you, yeah, no, I agreed with that. I was just looking at something else in terms of later some study I'll bring. But yeah, no, I found yeah, because I mean, I'm sure we've all can relate to that sort of feeling where you've eaten a big meal and you lie down in bed and it is just uncomfortable. Like you either feel a bit bloated or it's
mm,
just anyways, it's just an uncomfortable sensation that you feel. Sensational.
yeah.
And then for the final sort of section that we're missing in this whole piece of the puzzle. So we've covered what to do sleep schedule wise. So have a strict sleep schedule. We've covered best ways to have a bedly routine, like a nightly routine to help you fall asleep.
Yeah.
And we've just covered daily
Environment.
routine, environment. So the last one is optimizing what your bedroom's like. So
Oh.
yeah, so obviously, oh, the balloons. He nailed it, and there's a round of applause for David. He got environment. No, so optimize your bed and your pillow. Nice, yes. Optimize your bed and your sort of mattress and pillow. So your sleeping surface is critical to comfort and pain-free sleep. So choose the best mattress and best pillow for your needs. I don't know how you choose your best, but I mean I've been pretty lucky and
What you do, Matt, is you have millions of pounds that
yeah,
you can just go and buy a wham
mate.
mattress. Mattresses are so
Yeah,
expensive. I don't know. I got one that came with my furnished
nice.
bedroom,
Yeah.
and it's
Oh,
fine.
I'm not picky,
I think I'm pretty lucky that
but
like
some people
yeah,
do struggle.
yeah,
I know someone who like struggles to fall asleep,
yeah.
and it's just like they've got a weighted blanket and a weighted pillow. Yes. That weighted pillow that he's got is heavy, and the weighted blanket is heavy. I don't know how you sleep.
A weighted
Yeah.
pillow?
Well, not weighted.
That's interesting. I've never
It's
heard of
just
a weighted
soft, but like
pillow.
dead. Like it's just heavy. You can feel it's heavy.
Oh,
So
I
in a
see, I
pillow
see, I
fight, that's
see.
what you want. To be fair,
I like when the pillows like
just imagine that.
yeah.
Boom! You just,
Imagine taking somebody's legs out with that. It'd be
Mate,
life ending. Put them in the
yeah, just
concussion
get him in a
protocol after that.
wheelchair. Um,
Yeah. I like the first for my pillow situation, I have a ton of pillows. Never too many pillows, but they got to be like not not so soft that they're just
Mm.
air, but soft that they can like when you I always put my pillow up on the edge and then go back like that on it, so it like
Oh,
wraps
fair,
around my head as well. Do you know what I mean?
fair.
Do you know what I mean? So my head like doesn't
Oh,
move around. I
mate,
love that.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. I just pop my head on. Like there was a thing that was going around recently about like boys have thin pillows. Like I can't be asked to get my pillow, but I'll show you maybe another day. But I've got a thin bloody pillow, and I just honestly and
Do
I'm
you?
gone.
Oh, I can't stand it. Oh, I can't stand it when like it feels like your head's on
It's that
nothing.
much off, so
You
my
know?
head's fine. Look,
Oh,
see, look,
oh,
David.
I couldn't
There you
sleep
go,
like that.
all good.
I
Um,
couldn't do it.
and then
Couldn't do
sorry,
it.
so next, obviously, you have bedding, bed sheets, mattress, pillows that are all comfortable to your needs. Um, Finally, set a cool yet comfortable temperature. So the the s- the range is 17 to 18 degrees, which is 65 degrees Fahrenheit. So 17 to 18 degrees. Thank you. 17 to 18 degrees. It's when you smile. It must be when you smile or something. Or your hands.
But I've been. I don't know, but it just did it 2 times in a
Yeah.
row.
Um.
I was thinking like, and I didn't say
Yeah.
anything.
No, no, no. And then, so essentially 17 to 18 degrees is where you want it to be at. So have a nice cool area. Block out light. So you don't want any light in here. I mean, that's pretty obvious as well.
That's a tough one as well,
Yeah.
though. That because we've been talking about like natural light and all that, right? I don't like blackout blinds because then you wake up, especially in the summer. I find it so much easier to wake up at 5:30
Mm.
in the summer when the
I'll
sun's
get onto
out.
that. I'll
You know
get
what I
onto
mean?
that.
But then if it's 5:30 and I've got blackout blinds, it could be 12, it could be midday. I don't know
Mm.
what time it is. I don't like that. You got to get the blackout blinds that like go up when your alarm goes off,
No,
or like those big
yeah.
windows that what's his name?
What's his
Nam?
nam?
What's
What's
his
his nam?
what's his what's his what's his name? Iron Man.
Oh,
Iron Man
oh,
that has in his where
Tiny
like
Stark. Tony
the
Stork. Tiny
Tony
Stork.
Tony Stark.
Tiny Stork is his nam.
Where like his
Yeah,
window is tinted and then it
mate. To be fair,
untints.
that would be
That's
ideal.
what you need.
But yeah, like
What were you gonna say about
Or
blackout
eye
blinds?
mask. Eye mask if you want, but obviously some people might whatever
Mm,
comfortable. Try block out as much light as possible. Drown out the noise. Earplugs if you need. Try calming scents. That's another one. But that's all about environment. Just find an environment that works for you. You can trial and error it. The other thing I wanted to mention that you touched upon is the blinds are actually a benefit during summer or when there's a place where you've got a lot of sunlight coming through. The reason as to why is because it can actually
right.
help you wake up in a more of an alert state. Because once again, if you're out in the wild, you're not having anything covering the sun from you. So once the sun happens, it can actually. There's been studies where, or scientifically, like the sunlight actually goes past your eyelids. So just the rays and the exposure that on your eyelids, it actually helps you start the circadian rhythm. So start this beginning of that essentially where you are, it's almost like a chain reaction, like the gears start turning whilst you're sleeping. You're getting out of your REM sleep, you're getting out into a wakefulness, and once you get out, it eliminates drowsiness because the sunlight has already
Yeah.
entered in that 30 to
Oh,
60-minute period.
oh, absolutely. When you go camping,
Mm,
right, in the summertime, you always wake up and it's bright and you're like, right,
yeah.
I'm ready to
There's
go.
no drowsiness.
And then you realize it's 4 in the
Yeah.
morning.
You're like,
You're like, this
uh,
is nonsense. No, but when I in the summertime, if I can, I sleep with my
mm,
blinds open. If I because luckily I'm pretty good at going to sleep even if it's not like pitch black outside. Um, and I'd rather than be able to wake up with the
yeah.
sun, or at least like have the sun up, because then it's so
Yeah,
much easier. Or like first thing I do when I wake up, especially in the summer, just tear open the blinds.
and I mean like yeah, as I said, it just helps start that whole process a whole lot earlier. But yeah, try. So those are all the sort of tips and stuff. Now, finally, the final thing from me is you can consider taking dietary supplements. I'm just taking this from stuff Huberman has said, Matthew Walker, and stuff that has been said on the Joe Rogan podcast. This is not me saying you should do this. Try all of the earlier stuff prior, and then consult your doctor. But basically,
Yeah, I think
a balanced diet usually
ahead.
provides the necessary nutrients for quality sleep. But however, not everyone, we're all built different. Not everyone can get all the nutrients they need through their diet alone. In these cases, some dietary supplements can be helpful. So stuff like magnesium, I'm not sure if you heard that one, but 145 milligrams magnesium threonate or 200 milligrams magnesium bisglycinate. That NAM for magnesium was difficult. There, I got you back. Take it away from me. Anyways, magnesium is a mineral found in the body. Low levels of magnesium are linked with poor sleep quality. So research suggests that taking some magnesium supplements of those two ranges we gave, from those magnesium threonate and magnesium bisglycinate,
it can be really good for like restless for muscles
and
as
I guess
well, for muscle like rebuild. So if you're
yeah.
exercising, or you find like if you have like a hard leg session or whatever, and in the evening your legs are really restless, magnesium can help.
Yeah, and I mean the next one is 50 milligrams of apigenin, and that is a flavonoid found in many vegetables and plants. Funnily enough, one found in majorly is chamomile. So I'm sure people have been told have some chamomile before you sleep because it's quite calming and has sedative properties that may induce relaxation and improve sleep. So 50 mg's of apigenin. And then lastly, 100 to 400 milligrams of theanine. And theanine is an amino acid found in tea leaves and some mushrooms. Research suggests that theanine may influence several neurotransmitters within the central nervous system to promote relaxation and facilitate sleep. So those are the three sort of areas you can look at. But try get a balanced diet first. Um, try get your bits of magnesium, apigenin, and theanine. So theanine, just have some tea leaves, eat some tea leaves, mix it with chamomile, and then finally just get some magnesium. You know, the ones where you can help spark fires. Just eat some of that stuff. Obviously not, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's similar. I don't know. Have we talked about like supplements and stuff on the podcast, or
Not yet.
I don't know if we have, or things like we've talked about like recovery modalities and stuff like that, and like CBD oil is a big thing now,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like
true.
do this to help you recover faster, and then people go on these like fads of like using the best Theragun or CBD oils or to help recover, but they're sleeping 4 hours and they're eating McDonald's 3 times a day, and
Mm.
then also every weekend they get super drunk every Friday, Saturday night. And it's like I feel like I feel like supplements are great if everything else is at least as dialed in as it can be or on its way, or you know what I mean, like you've figured out your diet, you figured out what works best for me in terms of like my sleep routine, or like my environment or whatever, like I know what I'm doing there, and then actually I need a little bit of help, so maybe I can take a look at supplements or try these supplements to see if it helps a little bit. You
Mm.
know what I mean? Similar to like people who take CBD oils to help them recover from exercise, but they're they're partying three times a week. They're getting 4 hours of sleep most nights. It's like, let's dial in those things first. Let's eat healthy. Let's make sure our macronutrients are good. Make sure this is good, and then maybe those supplements will actually be of benefit.
Yeah.
If that, and I think for me at least the same thing goes for sleep. Like, don't go, you know, supplementing with melatonin if you've never even tried sleeping with the lights off.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, no, massively. And yeah, don't instantly go to the supplements. I think that's the main thing that everyone can take away. Just try get your balanced diet sorted out. Try get all the nutrients from natural foods, ultra
Yeah,
processed foods, no. Just try, yeah.
yeah, and even something that I found interesting reading some papers was like we talk about needing to get the right amount of sleep and like what's the right amount of sleep. It does seem like between 7 and 8 hours does seem the best, so try to go for that. But then you hear people, well, I only sleep 5 hours and I'm totally fine. Don't know about that long term, but studies have shown that like short term sleep deprivation doesn't have long term impacts. And it's tough because we talk about like have like do this, do that, have a balanced diet, have a strict sleep routine. And the reality is like we all work, we all have things going on in our lives. We all have schedules that sometimes get thrown out of whack. And I think also being aware that if you don't get your 8 hours of sleep in it for a couple days, or you have a week where work's really stressful, or you got something going on and you don't have a good sleep, or you don't get 8 hours, you only get 4 hours, that it's not like the end of the world. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to throw yourself totally out of whack. Sure, you'll probably feel tired. Hey, you might get sick if that goes on for too long, and that's not great either. But it's not like, oh, I got 4 hours of sleep yesterday. Like this is awful, and then get totally stressed out about it. You know.
Yeah.
Um. So that's just something that I was
No,
thinking about
massively.
as I was reading the papers.
Yeah.
No, that's yeah, that's all from me. One thing I'd like to delve into is the actual science behind shift workers and people with like say ADHD. How can that affect them? But that's something I didn't have enough time to delve into this episode. But yeah, first
Oh,
little
it's interesting.
bite-sized
Yeah.
episode. That was
Yeah,
pretty
and
good.
there are lots. There are. Yeah. And there are lots of like actual sleep um disorders like sleep apnea or insomnia. I'm sure there's lots of other
Mm.
ones, and some of those can be brought on from like if you're obese. Lots of obese people have sleep apnea, so it could be something that you could work on from there, or maybe not, and you gotta go um, go get help from actual healthcare professionals. But yeah, I think like you said, the biggest thing is figure out what works for you. Figure out a way to and have a think of like, hey, I'm having a difficult time falling asleep. What am I doing the hour before I go to bed? Am I on my phone in bed? How often do I lay in bed not sleeping? Is that something that could be contributing? Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah.
No,
I think it's
massively.
for us as well. Like for me, at least, it was a really good reminder of like things that could help and things that are important to kind of keep in mind. Um, because it is just easy to not think about it, isn't it? And then all of a sudden you're sleeping poorly and you don't really know why. But actually, like just kind of checking up on yourself, and being willing to like put the phone down half an hour before you go to sleep. 15 minutes, start 15 minutes, just to kind of get into the rhythm.
Can you hear me and see me?
Yeah.
It's very laggy for me. Um, I don't know what's happened,
That's
but yeah,
fine.
it's just all right. Well, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I massively agree. It's a good reminder, and yeah, it's good to sort of whilst the times are changing in terms of seasonal changes, it's good to have that reminder and understand. Well, maybe now would be a good
Mhm.
time to go through that transition and try to set a sleep schedule when when the days are longer, you are ready for it and can maximize your sleep and
Yeah.
maximize your output and performance during the day, whether you're an athlete or doing a 9 to 5.
Nice. Nice. Well, we really hope that you enjoyed that. I know I did. Um, it's fun just like doing a different one where we just get into a topic and read a little bit about it because no matter how much I think I know about it, I always learn so much. So it's great.
Mm.
And I feel just talking about it as well helps too, because you just even come up with ideas that you haven't even thought about.
Yeah,
But
no, massively.
yeah. So if you've been listening, we really appreciate it. If you've enjoyed it, leave us a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it a ton. If you're over on Instagram, shoot us a follow on Instagram. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what your favorite episode is, what you love about it, what you want to hear more of, what you want to hear less of. Moving forward, so we're kind of in between series. In March, so in a couple weeks, I think next week, there probably won't be an episode. But the week after that should be, if everything's going well and to plan, March 6th. And that's going to start our next season, and we'll tease a little bit about that kind of in the coming weeks. But yeah, so make sure you stick around for that because that's going to be really exciting. Hopefully, we got some exciting stuff planned for that. And if you're loving the podcast, share it with someone. We'd love that as well. But until then, Matt, you want to take us out?
This has been the RSS podcast. We're out.